Would you be willing to sit here for just a couple of minutes while I vent about why we need to be more proactive in protecting our health? All right, so I have a health and wellness business. I've been an attorney for 31 years. I was also a lobbyist in DC. Before you comment, please listen to all of this because I actually have some advice, but I read something yesterday and then I heard something today, and I'm not buying the brainwashing. Okay, let me backtrack. So, there was an executive order yesterday authorizing the increased production of glyphosate here in the United States. If you don't know what glyphosate is, it's the primary ingredient in Roundup. Google what it does for your health. It stays in the soil up to 22 years. It stays in the water up to 7 years. And while they say it's not a forever chemical, if you just keep adding it and adding it and adding it, it's going to saturate everything. And that's kind of what has happened. That's not my issue right now. That's problematic. So I was listening. So apparently I am the only health and wellness professional that is not on board with the MAHA movement. This is not a political statement. I'm not on board with what they're doing. I don't think they're serious people, and they're not really making the best decisions. This is the latest of many that I'm not on board with. Because if you're on board with improving people's health, this would have never happened. So I was watching this video from somebody cross-posted it in the essential oil world that I'm in. And it was a guy who is like an anti-cancer advocate. And he was actually explaining why people are actually on board with this increased production of glyphosate. And it's like, okay, I got to listen to this. You got to be kidding me. And he explained that in the 30 years of modern agriculture and glyphosate, farmers have grown dependent on glyphosate for their crops. And if we just take away glyphosate, the crops are going to fail. And if the crops fail, we don't have the grains, we don't have the vegetables, but there's no food to feed the farm animals. So you can kiss your chicken and your meat goodbye. So basically, the short story of his video was you can either have famine or you can have glyphosate-infused food. I'm sorry, sweet pea, I'm not buying into the brainwashing. Those are not our only two options. I'm not buying into the brainwashing. I'm not going to buy into the brainwashing that you need to support what they are doing. If you are in the health and wellness field, you need to support what they are doing. I call BS on that. I don't support what they are doing because it's not promoting health in people or animals. So it got me thinking, like he was talking about how farmers are going to go bankrupt, they're going to go out of business. I grew up in a farming community. Okay, I didn't grow up on a farm, but I grew up in a farming community. I don't want any farmer to lose their business. But for decades, I have literally been teaching my students that the businesses that are thriving right now are philanthropic, they're compassionate, they are interested in our health and wellness and our well-being. And the businesses that are failing are greedy and not interested in our health and well-being. There's been a growing shift to organic. There's been a growing shift away from companies that test their products on animals. Don't even get me going on that. I actually wrote a book about that, and it doesn't need to happen. So consumers are being very educated, and we're not going to support businesses like that. What if, so I was a lobbyist in DC for about 4 years. I know how powerful the Monsanto lobby is. I know how powerful the farm lobby is. It would be so interesting to pit the two of them against each other, because what if the farm lobby went to Congress and said, you know what, we want our farm subsidies to go to organic farms because we're not going to be using glyphosate anymore. Well, that's going to pit them against Monsanto, and it's kind of like Godzilla versus King Kong. That's what it would be like. They can do whatever they want. I don't care. But what if the farm lobby went to Congress and said all the farm subsidies, send it to the organic farmers? Then the farmers would say, okay, let's clean up our fields. Let's clean up the soil, because there's ways to do it naturally. And let's grow organically without these chemicals. And oh, by the way, the animals are going to be healthier. Everything that we ingest is going to be healthier. That's a movement I can get behind, right? So I'm going to be writing to my legislators. Do you want to write to your legislators? Because that's an option. I'm not buying into you can have famine or you can have glyphosate-infused food. That's the equivalent of, one of my legal specialties is domestic violence. That's the equivalent of a domestic violence abuser saying, I hit you because I love you. Or daddy hits me because he loves me. Hard no. I'm not buying the brainwashing. It's actually called learned helplessness, where they just present you with something and you're just like, oh my God, there's nothing that we can do. And this guy was actually, he's an anti-cancer advocate. I literally don't know who he is. So, he can have whatever beliefs he wants. But that video is now going through the health and wellness field, and especially in the essential oil world that I'm in. And I'm like, have y'all lost your ever-loving mind? Y'all are being brainwashed. That is not our only two options, and I'm sure that there's more options than that. Flood the comments with the options on how we can help our farmers not be beholden to glyphosate. Don't tell me there's no other way. I've literally spent an hour thinking about this. Imagine experts in the field spending a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years thinking about this. Don't tell me that this is the only option. Monsanto has big money. And remember when I said I have been teaching my students for a couple of decades that greed and businesses that are not healthy or interested in helping us be healthy, those businesses are collapsing. I look at all the businesses that had to do the cruelty-free on their products because of public pressure and how we buy. Your dollars are a vote. I remember not so long ago, in the last 10 years, remember carrageenan that used to be in everything? Now you don't see it. Because we stopped buying food full of carrageenan, which is a digestive irritant. It used to be in pet food. It used to be in coffee creamers. I'm sorry, you don't need it in coffee creamers. We put an end to that. Can we do the same here? But the brainwashing, oh my gosh, and I have friends and health and wellness professionals that I highly respect. They're sharing this video and I'm commenting like, I'm sorry, this is not our only option. I'm not buying the brainwashing. Especially when a movement took away air quality protections, took away water quality protections, approved dicamba as an herbicide, which literally floats everywhere and could land in an organic field. Don't tell me they are interested in our health and wellness. I am riled up. Okay, yeah, it could be the solar eclipse that we had. It could be the year of the fire horse because I was born in the year of the fire horse. I am on fire about this. So my recommendation is, if you have any other ideas, I would just love to hear in the comments. What else can we do to help farmers not do this glyphosate thing? And then my recommendation is write your legislators and say, can we give farm subsidies to organic farmers and have more of them? If you got to the end of this, put a little heart in the comments. I shake my head most days. It's like, you have got to be kidding me.